that I'm real. And niggas ain't seeing me. I've been said I'm hot, and you just now believe in me.
I'ma switch it up a little bit on this edition of the Random Boxing Notes. First off, I'm gonna talk about Berto, as well as some other fighters that I feel is a great question mark on their careers and as far as them moving forward in the sport of boxing. Berto, after his last fight with Soto Karass that we all witnessed over the last weekend, a lot of people are really wondering, is Berto done? And when I mean done, at least in my humble opinion, are these guys done at the top level? Meaning, can they beat a top level person in their division? Like, could they be a top 3 or a top 5 fighter in their division? With Berto, he's always been a solid B+ level type of fighter. He had a high ceiling because he had the nice, fancy, jazzy attributes like the speed and hand speed, the quickness, the power, the reflexes. He had the warrior spirit, heart. You know, those things weren't his problem, but it was always the lack of a ring identity and just the fundamental basics with the skills. You know, Berto he gets by on his talent. He fights in little offensive outbursts. He doesn't jab consistently. He doesn't try to break you down. His defense is pretty much non-existent. His stamina issues. He can't really fight at a steady pace throughout a boxing match. His ring generalship, you know, it was all these things that were just major flaws for Berto, but he got by on good management and his talent. You know, he can fight, but I just think he wasn't molded into the fighter that he could have been, and I'm afraid it's a little too late now, because when you look at his career and how it's progressed, he's taken an awful lot of punishment to have never fought that A+ elite level guy. I mean, all these wars that Berto's been in, he's been in wars with David Estrada, Luis Collazo, Guerrero, Ortiz, damn Soto Karass. I mean, everybody's put hands on Berto. I mean, Casame, Rivera dropped. I mean, this dude, like, Berto's been getting knocked around by a lot of people, and he never really dominated his fellow B-level fighters. And, you know, he never really just made himself stand a step or two higher than everybody else around his skill level and the attributes. And so that kind of hurt him, because if he had the skills to do it, he would have done it. And he would have raised his legacy a little higher. Maybe he would have got these bigger marquee names. But if you're taking punishment from B-level guys, you know, and beat up by these type of guys, you know, you probably won't ever make the damn a marquee top level opponent where you have a good chance of dethroning them, beating them for their title, their fans, their, you know, world recognition. Berto, you know, just flew under that radar. He never made it to that level. And you see most guys in Berto's shoes who are talented with speed and power, they dominate everybody else, but they fight that one top level elite dude, and, you know, they take that beating. Berto's been taking those beatings, and he never even fought that elite fighter yet. So really looking at it, you know, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I don't think there's no trainer that's gonna fix Berto. I mean, it's in his mindset, all his flaws, everything's already just been put into him. He's gonna be Berto. He's gonna be a guy that is pretty much a gatekeeper who gets in exciting fights. He never realized his true potential. It's sad, but, you know, this is boxing. That shit happens. I realistically don't give Berto a shot against any top 3, top 5 welterweight. Hell, you know, I don't think he beats Keith Thurman. He probably loses to a dude like Pablo Cesar Cano. I mean, that's probably a damn 50-50 fight. just when you just really look at it, like I think Cal Brook beats Berto, Devin Alexander. I mean, let's just face it, Berto, it is what it is right now. If he makes a turnaround in his career, I'll be happy for him, be proud. That's a good thing, but as of now, I don't see it happening. The next up is Chad Dawson. I felt that he's had a much better career than Berto because he actually became the man in his division and was at the top for a couple years. And he's fought guys who were, they're a little past it, but they were top level guys in his division. Whereas Berto, he never really fought. He never got that chance to fight the Shane Mosley. He never fought Floyd. He never fought Pacquiao. He never fought these other beasts that were, top level, that were top 3 in his division or the top 5. He never got that chance. Dawson got that opportunity and he shined, but he's been criticized for his less passionate approach to boxing. He kind of just mails it in, and I can understand why some people will feel that he fell short of what his skills and ability kind of promised us. Berto was a B-level guy. Dawson was an A- guy. He just he didn't have that killer instinct, that dog in him, that meanness that you would want a guy who names himself Bad to have. But on his best days, Dawson looked outstanding. I mean, he beat the shit out of Eric Hardin and Thomas Adamek. But, I think what fucked up his career was draining himself to make a supposed super fight with Andre Ward. And that shit was just a bad idea because he took a real beating, and I think his punch resistance will never be the same after that, because in his next fight at light heavyweight, he faces a guy in Stevenson who's a puncher coming up in weight, mind you, and the first decent punch he lands on Dawson pretty much takes him out of commission. Like, what the fuck? Now, don't get me wrong, Stevenson is a big puncher, dude could crack, and I seen him knock the fuck out of a lot of dudes and really hit people with his Sunday punch. I don't think he caught Dawson with his best punch. He caught Dawson with a good one, but the way Dawson reacted and took it was like he hit him with the same punch Martinez knocked out Paul Williams with. And Dawson just, I think that's it with him. Everybody's gonna go gunning for his chin down whenever he fights anybody who has any business being in the ring with him. In a perfect world, Dawson would be able to take a bunch of tune-up fights in his hometown, build his record back up, his confidence, get his skills back on point, and try to get like a top 10 contender late this year or beginning of next year, and really make a good push at being at the top again. But that's not gonna happen because, first of all, these guys, they get used to getting these network dates and getting that big license fee, and they want to make $250,000 for their fights. They want to make $500,000 for their fights, and they deserve it. They work hard, but you sacrificing your skills and everything else with it. In your career, he's not gonna want to fight for damn $50,000, in front of his hometown, to fight a lesser known dude and get back on point. Dudes, they not willing to go that route. This ain't 20 years ago. Dudes is cut from different cloths now. This ain't like a James Toney, how James Toney used to be on ESPN all the time. Then he'll fight a nigga on HBO, Showtime, and he just keep at it because he love fighting. Dawson, I don't see that from him, so I honestly think it's a wrap for dude's career at the top level. If, like I said with Berto, if he turns it around, I'll be proud of him, I'll be happy. But right now, I honestly think it's a wrap for him. Last but not least, we have Amir Khan. Now, the good thing about Khan, he's the only guy on this list that didn't come off a loss. He won his last fight with Julio Diaz, but it's how he won. First of all, he barely won. He went life and death with this dude. in a fight that no one thought he would really look bad or struggling. You know, I'm not saying you can't lose a couple rounds. I mean, this is boxing at the world class level, but to get dropped and repeatedly hurt throughout the damn second half of the fight, I mean, it doesn't look that good. Khan, I feel he kind of had a decent career. His career's been pretty good. I put him right in the middle of Dawson and Berto career-wise, because Amir Khan never became the man in his division, but he was a top guy in his division. Unlike Berto, who kind of had that top spot in the welterweight division handed to him by default, because he never beat any elite guy to really get there. Just he kept being undefeated, while you had Pacquiao and Floyd at the top, really being the heavyweights of that division. Khan, you know, he had some good impressive victories and he did his thing, but for the type of style and his attributes and how he fights and the skill set he has, you kind of wish, you know, he gave us more. You know, he gets hurt by everybody. He struggles in a lot of fights. He lost to Danny Garcia, life and death with Lamont Peterson. I mean, life and death with Marcos Maidana. And Amir Khan, he's still a good fighter, but I don't think this his training with Virgil Hunter is really gonna do him any good. I think his flaws and his mistakes are just already out there. People gonna gun for his chin, and Khan, he can't fight at a measured pace. His warrior spirit, his heart, he's always gonna fight and be active in the ring. You can't slow Khan down, and you can't make him slow himself down and fight at that measured pace. I think him with Freddie Roach was a good matchup. You know, as far as a fighter and a trainer is concerned, he was fighting at a high pace. It's just that it's not Freddie Roach's fault that Amir Khan feels the need to slug it out with guys when he doesn't have to. I mean, Freddie Roach ain't telling him to do that shit. You know, that's Amir Khan telling himself to do that shit. You saw it happen in the Danny Garcia fight. So I don't think Virgil Hunter is gonna change that. Fighters are gonna be who they are. You know, you always hear me mention temperament. That's what controls how you react and do things in the ring, and that's always been Khan's biggest flaw. And I don't think any amount of training is gonna change that. He wants to be a warrior so much that, you know, it hurts him. But I think he can turn it around with the proper matchmaking and just well as, you know, fighting intelligently. Shit, it ain't that fucking hard to do when you got speed and reach advantages and height advantages over most of your opponents. But it is what it is. I mean, I'll holler at y'all next time. You know, I know I've been slow with the videos and shit, but you know, shit is real out here. Swag Science, Hood All Stars.